My name is Harro van Asselt. I'm a postdoc researcher at the Stockholm Environment Institute. I'm from the Netherlands, and I've worked in Amsterdam for 8 years at the Institute for Environmental Studies. After that, I already moved out of the Netherlands and went to the UK, where I was at the University of Oxford for 2 years. And now I was employed with the Stockholm Environment Institute to work specifically on this project. I'm involved in Project 6, which is on praising adaptation policy, and I'm employed for 2 years, so for 2/3 of my time. So 2/3 of my time for 2 years, I'll be working on this subproject. The main focus of my research will be on assessing the extent to which climate change adaptation and adaptation to climate policy is integrated in Nordic development cooperation. So assessing to what extent, let's say, the 5 Nordic countries have done this so far, but also to examine to which extent the goodwill that they have created in the past with developing countries can be used to potentially influence international discussions on climate finance. I think I will collaborate with other partners in NORD. I think Linköping University will be one obvious partner. Let's say not only in terms of disciplinary interest, but also in terms of the research topics that they've been working on, and also within the NORD project, their focus on insurance. It would make it quite logical for me to work with them. I guess to some extent there might be collaborations with Orange University, depending on, of course, how everyone's research is developing over time. I think the stakeholders in my project specifically will be development agencies in the Nordic countries, but also, let's say, climate change negotiators in the Nordic countries, but also beyond that, because I think the implications of my research, while specifically aimed at the Nordic countries, could potentially be much bigger than that, because there's a lot of the ongoing discussions on climate finance are quite contentious at the moment. And I think there's a need for new ideas, for new suggestions, and I do think that, as I said, given the goodwill that the Nordic countries have created over the last few years, over the last few decades, the credibility that they have, I think that it really could be useful if they pool their resources, pool their influence together, and try to influence the international discussions on climate finance. My research results will add value by informing, in the very first place, Nordic climate policy makers and Nordic development policy makers, how they can integrate adaptation and adaptation to climate policy into their development policies successfully. I'm not going to say them how to do it exactly so that it will be successful, but at least sketch the conditions under which it could be successful. And at the same time, I will add value by indicating to which extent Nordic countries could try to influence international discussions on climate finance, and also by providing them with an overview to what extent they have already done so.